Alright, Mr. Tanabe, today we're going to record another video. So today I'd like to take a fresh look at a few things. In our earlier videos, you've shared all sorts of stories. How iPSCells come to be, the story of starting your company, and so much more. But there's still a lot we haven't been able to ask you about. Today I'd like to hear about the benefits of using them and what kind of life that opens up. So, thank you for being here. So, for today, I've prepared questions in stages. I'd like to start by hearing about your time in the Yamanaka lab. Here's my first question. You were in the Yamanaka lab. What kind of place was it, and what kind of people were there?
Well, when I joined the Yamanaka lab, it wasn't a very big lab yet. There were only about 15 people. Back then, it was a really warm, close-knit lab. Basically, everyone loved experiments in cell biology. Since it was a medical school, there were some medical doctors too. But the Yamanaka lab had just moved over from the Nara Institute of Science and Technology at that point. So rather than people from a medical background, there were a lot of people who simply loved biology. Molecular biology, cell biology. The senior members were all the same, working from early morning until late at night. In the Yamanaka lab, everyone came in at 9, and we'd clean the lab. You had to be there by 9. You'd come in, and most people would stay pretty late into the night. That was the lifestyle, the whole time. What I'm really grateful for about being in Professor Yamanaka's lab is that he was rigorous about science. He taught us so much, like the importance of proving things from many different angles. That was part of what led me to study at Stanford afterward. And even there, I never struggled, thanks to that. I'm deeply grateful to Professor Yamanaka for that. It let me move on smoothly to a place like that. He really gave us a solid grounding in science.
So, were you basically immersed in research every single day?
That's right. For a lot of us, myself included, research was our hobby. It wasn't really about grinding away at all. We were just going to do the most fun thing there was.
Yes, thank you. So, moving on to the next one. Back before iPSCells had spread out into the world, did you feel that iPSCells were going to change the world?
Oh, absolutely. I felt it intensely. Originally, the reason I got into biology was this. With a newt, if you cut off its hand, it grows a new one, just like that. When you cut a newt's hand, the part that's cut was originally a hand. So to grow a hand back, first that tissue has to forget it ever was a hand and become a cell that can turn into anything. We call that de-differentiation. And if you can do that, then you can do anything, right? When I was shown a paper saying this had actually been achieved, my hands were shaking like crazy. I still remember it. I was incredibly moved. It was really two emotions at once. One, I was blown away. And two, I was crushed. This was supposed to be my life's work, and wait, it's already been done? It's already done. That was my very first reaction. But that was in mice, so there was no reason to be discouraged. So the thought was, what if we did it in humans? And I got the chance to be part of that.
So, I wouldn't quite call it the trigger for getting into iPS research, but would you say you were destined to cross paths with that research?
I'm not sure, honestly. What I did was keep saying I wanted to create cells in humans that could become anything, like a newt, and I wrote a lot of reports about it. As I kept writing them, Professor Yamanaka, for some reason I still don't know, agreed to meet with me. And he said, "Tanabe, if you come to my lab, maybe we could do that kind of thing together." At that point, iPSCells definitely didn't exist yet. This was around 2003 or 2004, so there was no way they could have. But he told me that back then, and that's how I ended up going there.
I see. So, about those lab days, what was an unforgettable day from your time in the lab?
The first one has to be the day we created human, iPSCells. Even after we'd made them in mice, making human cells was incredibly difficult. It took about a year. My very first project was to create human iPSCells, and the day we could finally say we'd made them, like I was saying earlier, that feeling of, now we can make anything. That was a truly special day. Another one, in Professor Yamanaka's lab. He taught us so much about science that the goal wasn't just to get a PhD, but how to live as a scientist. You can't earn a PhD quickly, but the day I finally got mine was an unforgettable day. That's definitely one of the unforgettable ones.
I'm sure there were joyful days like those, but over such a long research career, there must of course have been setbacks and hard times too. Was there a day when research felt really tough?
Well, since I genuinely love research, I don't really have setbacks. Or rather, I enjoy the setbacks. In research, you form a hypothesis and try to prove it. And there are tons of times it doesn't work out. But whether you see that as a setback, or you think, great, I just proved my hypothesis was wrong, so let's try the next thing, those are completely different. And I'm on the side that enjoys it. People around me always tell me that's a bit weird. I'll go, yes, and amazing, and then, so I was wrong after all. And they go, wait, you're happy about that? But to me, it's great that I could prove my own hypothesis wrong. This is something Professor Yamanaka said over and over too. In baseball, a .300 hitter is amazing, right? For a researcher, even a .100 hitter is amazing. So what matters is how you can swing and miss 10 times and bounce back quickly without getting discouraged and keep enjoying it. He always said that, and I thought, that's so true. I'm the type who can enjoy myself even while I'm striking out. So I may not have had all that many big setbacks.
So it's that accumulation that gives rise to the moment when something finally comes together.
That's right, exactly as you say. The more you experience that, the more you just think, on to the next one, faster and faster, without getting discouraged or dwelling on things.
Thank you. So let's move on to the next question. Last time, you told us about going from the Yamanaka lab to study at Stanford. This time, I'd like to hear a bit more about that time abroad. First, as a starting point, why did you choose Stanford?
Doing basic research in Professor Yamanaka's lab was a lot of fun. I love basic research, so I really enjoyed it, and I got to learn all kinds of things. But beyond that, I wanted to know how these iPS cells could actually change the world. When I talked about wanting to go and find that out, to a professor who wasn't in the Yamanaka lab, he said, Tanabe, you should absolutely go. And using research funding he had, he sent me to the US to study for about a week. And when I went and saw it, here in the US where we are now, the area that used to be called Silicon Valley and is now called the Bay Area, I was amazed that there were so many companies that don't just leave an invention sitting there as an invention, but turn it into innovation, into a form society can readily accept, and concretely change the world for the better. For example, back in the day there was Hewlett-Packard, and there's Apple. From our current company, Apple and Steve Jobs' house are about a 5-minute drive away. Google's headquarters is about 5 minutes away too, so there's Google, and Twitter, and Facebook, and recently, NVIDIA as well. I was deeply moved that all these different kinds of world-leading companies are really right there. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but I felt that if I came here, I'd be able to learn something I couldn't learn staying in Japan. That was one reason I chose Stanford. So, wanting to go to a lab at Stanford was one part of it. I'm a researcher, so I could only go on a researcher visa, which meant I had to pick a lab. But the reason I wanted to come here rather than the East Coast, that was the first part. The other reason is that a professor at Stanford gave me a chance, and I'm deeply grateful for that. So, those two reasons.